The Premier League has yet to return, but we had three matches featuring teams that play in the Premier League, and only two of them were actually interesting. Hi, I'm Wayne, and welcome to Goals by the Numbers. So, to make this a really short video for you and get these one out of the way, Chelsea beat Port Vale 7-0 in a match that they were expected to win and a match that they won comfortably. Chelsea beat Port Vale in the FA Cup. It's a shame for Port Vale because you always like the idea of one of the smaller clubs getting further because it's just more exciting, right? And some of us can even remember back to when Wigan beat Manchester City to win the FA Cup. That feels like maybe 10, 15 years ago. But yes, Chelsea won 7-0 with Garnacho actually scoring the winning goal via a penalty. So nice and easy. Chelsea through to the semi-finals. But this is where it gets interesting. So the first thing to state would be Southampton played Arsenal at it's not a, Southampton to play at the Dell anymore. I forget what the name of their stadium is. But the important point is after at least 10 Arsenal players pulled out of international matches due to injury and was, I guess, essentially saved to play against Southampton, Southampton then beat Arsenal 2-1. So that's another cup that Arsenal have been knocked out of, and now leaving them with just a double to go after. Now I don't know if it's just me, but maybe every decade we have like a really terrible season or low quality season in the Premier League. Now, of course, this perspective or opinion, or both, could just be coming from the fact that I support a rival team. So of course, there's always the opportunity to be critical because it's not your team and it's another team is always there. So let's be honest. But I just don't understand this Arsenal team. There isn't a player who scored a load of goals. There isn't a player who's playing outstandingly well. I mean, an over reliance on set pieces is a legitimate way to score goals, win points. Absolutely fine. But does it sit right with the fans? Because I know it doesn't sit right with the fans who support, other clubs in the Premier League. But it feels like not even peak Arsenal. It feels like peak Arteta to try and convince players not to play for their national teams. Succeed in doing that. Play them against a team in the Championship. Now, I think Southampton are currently something like seventh with a game in hand. So if they win, they go into the playoff spaces. So it's a team who's having a relatively good season, especially after they replaced their manager, Will Still, who came in like beginning of the season. But even so, Arsenal top of the league. They've not lost many games. Their defense is really good on paper. And you watch them, they're good defenders. It's not like it's a terrible team having a lucky season. But yes, so many Arsenal players left their international camps to play in this match and then somehow still lost 2-1 with like a goal with a couple of minutes to go of normal time. I honestly do not know what's going on. After having had lost to Manchester City in the League Cup final, Manchester City are second in the league. That's not a surprise. That can happen. Manchester City have a huge budget. It's a club that's been on the up for the last 10 years. They've got a manager who's won countless trophies. Now, I think the only season Pep may not have won a trophy was in his first. And this when they came fourth. Or maybe he won the League Cup. No, who knows? I'm not a City fan. I don't know. But honestly, sometimes I look at this Arsenal team and think something really bizarre is going on. Now, of course, if they do win the league and or the Champions League, the history books will just show the fact that they've won this title. And would they really care of the opinion of people who support teams who've not won anything significant? I sure as hell wouldn't. It would be a them problem, not a me problem. However, it feels a bit peak Arsenal back in the Wenger days when they would tell us all about how great the football is that they play, and then by February there'd be the yearly collapse, and they'd end up dropping down the table. And to watch them play against City, not really have a go, And let's be honest, or me, or us, let's be honest. This is not a vintage Manchester City team. They could be got at. Like, if you really went for them, you could have a go. I mean, what is it? Carrick came in at Manchester United, and they've been paltry. They've been, Man United have not been great for a while now, and he managed to fashion a 2-0 victory with 3 goals that were disallowed, and it all kind of looked like it was like, okay, this doesn't look like luck. This looks like by design. So it can be done. I mean, to be fair, any team on any day can have a go at another team and win. I mean, look at Southampton. They've just beaten the team that's likely going to win the Premier League. I mean, it'd be surprising if they don't, but stranger things have happened. So the lineups, a lot of Arsenal's big hitters started. Odegaard played. Gabriel Jesus played. Havertz played. Downing played, or Dowman played. Gabriel played. Kepa was in goal, but even as the second choice goalkeeper, it's not like he's bad. He was Chelsea's number one for a while, or at least a couple of seasons. So this wasn't like it was a team of kids or rejects. These were players Arsenal actually, use. I think even Eze played. Um, Gyökeres came on at one point. So yeah, it was an interesting watch. Knocked out of 2 cup competitions in 2 matches, having had recalled a bunch of players to give them extra rest time or give them something. Arteta has somehow managed to go from a quadruple to a double, which is, I mean, you can't really criticize someone going for a double when it's the league and the Champions League, arguably the 2 biggest competitions that they're in. But something's not right at that club. Something is just not right, and it feels really strange to criticize the team that is at the top of the league and has like a 6-7 point gap, but something there is not right. In fact, maybe we could even draw parallels between this Arsenal season and Liverpool last season. Liverpool won by essentially just doing what Klopp did and just continuing on the thing. Now, yes, did they win the title? Yes. If we look in the Guinness Book of Records, what does it say? Liverpool won last season. How they played, who scored? Yeah, that's just those are just data points. Liverpool won the league. Arsenal are like to win the league this season. Full stop. But we've now got to move on to another team. We've now got a scenario where Manchester City not only beat Arsenal to win the League Cup, they've also knocked Liverpool out of the FA Cup to qualify for the semi-finals as well, leaving us with Southampton, Chelsea, and Manchester City, and then West Ham and Leeds have to play. But this has been recorded before that. So yes, Southampton knocked out Arsenal. Arteta, I mean, Claudio Ranieri won the league, so I guess this is the standard now. Um, Manchester City beat Liverpool 4-0. Despite what Arsenal were doing, Arsenal are still actually top of the league. So again, it's hard to criticise them when they're actually winning and are in prime position, pole position to win. So you have to be really careful about the arguments. You can say this could be better, that could be better, but they are still at the top. Liverpool, on the other hand, that's much easier. It's not even criticism anymore. I'm actually at the stage of Liverpool where I would like to see them improve because it just improves the state of the competition across the whole league. And again, you want to beat a Liverpool who are as good as they can be. We've got Liverpool played Manchester City. Manchester City won 4-0. There were Liverpool fans leaving the stadium after an hour. I don't think in my lifetime I've known Liverpool fans to be leaving after an hour. And they've had some really terrible seasons. But yeah, they were leaving after an hour, 4-0 down. Haaland scored a couple of goals. Slot started Liverpool in a very narrow system, and surprise, surprise, Manchester City just used the wingers and just overran them. And something quite interesting, and this is why I like social media because information can pass quite quickly. We had Arteta recall something like 16 players, I think, back from international duty to play most of them, and then for Arsenal to lose 2-1. Arne Slot this season has lost the same amount of matches in totality that Ruben Amorim lost last season, and there's still more matches to go. And Amorim was deemed not to be good enough for a team who ended up 15th and was in 5th when he was sacked. So I just have to wonder, what is going to happen with Arne Slot? Are Liverpool just going to keep persisting with him because he won the league? Even Leicester were more ambitious and got rid of Ranieri. So it's honestly, this league is really weird. Maybe there should be like an experiment where someone investigates a bit like in the stock market, where like, the prices rise and every kind of 10 years is like something like not a national recession, but like a market correction. The prices kind of hit and then dip a bit before they go on again. Maybe the Premier League has this 10-year cycle where the quality just dips because either the good teams are not as good or the weak teams take a significant jump, and then everything's a bit more of an even playing field. But yeah, this whole Liverpool thing's crazy. Like, I would love it if they gave Slot like a 10-year contract and said, "You just do you, just do you." You know, we can afford to be relegated because we can do things in the market that other teams can't, like spend 500 million and produce this. Nah, it wasn't. Did they really spend 500 million? I don't think so. Again, this is where social media can be a bit iffy because we have actual numbers, and we'll never really know the actual number. It'll always be a close approximation. Then there's agent fees, and depending on which team or manager is under the most pressure, those fees start to become inflated. So, assuming Klopp gets sacked at some point in the next few weeks, it will go from him spending 400 million in the summer to 500 million in the summer to somehow someone arguing 800 million because there's length of contracts, agent fees, signing on fees, the transfer fee, and inflation or something. Oh, the media is interesting at the best of times. So we have two managers in two different scenarios, seemingly both making some strange decisions. But for one, it's working and they're looking like they might win the league, and for the other one, he is actually managing to drag Liverpool down. Oh, Arne Slot, I hope they keep you forever. I'm Wayne. This has been Goals by the Numbers. I'll catch you in the next one.